Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I'm Vicky Igbokwe-Ozoagu, your Lighter Leadership Coach, and welcome to the Lighter Leadership Podcast, where we explore leadership that doesn't cost you yourself. A conversation I had recently with a leader centered around uncertainty. A team feeling anxious, no clear long-term plan just yet, and a lot of pressure to reassure people. And underneath it all was this feeling of, I should have all the answers by now. Because when things feel uncertain, the instinct is to often try and create certainty, right? To present a plan, reassure people, make it seem like everything is under control, which makes sense. I get it. But what happens when you genuinely don't know? And you're the person that everyone's looking at, right? What happens when things are still unfolding? That can feel deeply uncomfortable as a leader, as the person that everyone's like, what are we doing? What's happening? Where do we go next? And this was the shift in our conversation. Because instead of trying to create certainty that didn't exist, she chose to communicate what was true, which in this particular instance was we're still figuring it out. And still figuring it out not as a lack of leadership, but as honesty, transparency. Because let's be real, people, your people, can feel the difference between clarity and performance. And when you try to lead with certainty that you don't actually have, it often creates more anxiety, not less. Because people know, they can feel it. I've been in those scenarios where I've not been the leader, but it's like we can sense something is going here or not going on, but we're not being met with honesty. So, one thing that we talked through in this conversation was what does honesty sound like? Well, it can sound like here's what I know, here's what I don't know yet, and here's what I'm focusing on right now. And as we talked this through, it became apparent that that was enough, that that could be enough. And not because it solved everything, because it definitely didn't, but because it created trust. Yes, it created trust between this leader and the team. And this is the thing that I want to remind you. You don't need a perfect plan to lead well. You need to be honest about what is true right now. Let that sink in. You don't need a perfect plan to lead well. You need to be honest about what is true right now. So I want you to have a think over the next few days about this. Where are you trying to create certainty instead of naming what's actually true? Where are you trying to create certainty instead of naming what's actually true? Take some time this week. 5 minutes is all it needs. Just have a think about that. And of course, if you want some space to think through any of your leadership pressure without having to perform certainty, you're more than welcome to join the next Lighter Leadership Reset. 30 minutes of protected thinking time just for you. Take a look at the show notes, and that will tell you when the next reset is taking place. And I really want you to remember that your leadership doesn't cost you yourself. Your leadership doesn't need to cost you yourself. Lots of love. Take care.